This is Get Your Shift Together with Michele Ferrari and Jordan Harding. Michele is on a mission to support you on your leadership journey. As an executive and leadership coach, she wants to show you that you can have the impact and the career that you want by aligning your thoughts, your choices, and your actions with your goals, not only to benefit yourself, but the world. It's time to get your shift together.
Hey, Michele, it's episode 27 of Get Your Shift Together. We're here with the fifth in the 5 series of the Work Audit. Woo!
Amazing.
We're raising the roof there. Just amazing. Yeah. We came into this year in 2023 trying to work with people that are listening to live a better life in terms of the work audit and looking at things. And Michele, last time we ended off with choice, which was the third C. Right. And the practice was small choices. So what with choice do we have to really keep in mind as we move into practicing cultivate?
Well, you just reiterated it. So usually by the time we get to a course like the practice or philosophies like the practice, it's because we want something to shift in our lives. Oh, there's that word shift. Get your shift together. Mm-hmm. And there's an energy around that desire, right? Like there's a longing, there's a wanting. And so I want to lose 50 pounds tomorrow. I want a new job by June. Right? We go big. We're going to not eat a steak. We're going to eat the whole cow. Sorry for the vegetarians out there. That might not have been the best analogy. And it's the small choice is so that you're actually building a muscle in your brain, so that you're learning to trust yourself. And it's that idea of picking up a 5-pound weight instead of picking up a 50-pound weight, because a 50-pound weight, if you haven't lifted in a while, you're probably going to drop it at some point, or you're going to get too fatigued too fast. A 5-pound weight, you're going to go, oh, I can do this. You know what? I'm going to do another 4 reps. And so you're actually training your brain to say, oh, I can do this. That's the point of small choice. It's the practicing, it's the building of the muscle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's even this morning, I wrote a little post-it to myself, a practice choice. And to me, that was what you were saying last week, to pause, to plug into the vision of what you want to create. And for me, this morning was having an energetic conversation with Michele.
That's a choice. Feelings are so funny, right? Because they come in and they're like, we are here and we control you and you will pay attention to us. And they are there. And I do encourage you to engage with your feelings. And then I encourage you to choose, not based on your feelings, but based on what it is that you want to create. So with you supporting me in this podcast, you want to bring energy. That's a choice. So if you get up this morning and you're not feeling it, okay, I'm actually going to choose in spite of how I'm feeling. First thought I had when I woke up, I don't know if I feel like doing the podcast this morning. I might call Jordan and just not do it. And then I was like, well, that's not who I want to be in the world. I want to be of service in the world. So that's not a choice that I feel comfortable making. So I'm going to move forward anyways. So that concept of the pause and then choosing in spite of how you're feeling and more in alignment with what you're trying to create. That's what choice is, right? I'm not going to be reactive. I'm going to be thoughtful and purposeful and choose an alignment with what I'm trying to create.
So let's go with that thought for a minute, Michele. So you wake up this morning, and you're like, hey, maybe I'll call because I'm not sure I've got the energy right now for the podcast. So you've made the choice that that's not who you want to be in the world today. Yep. And so now where does cultivate come in to make you, because to me, cultivate is The definition I think that you've stated is trying to acquire or develop a quality, sentiment, or skill. So once you've made that choice, where does cultivate come in?
Well, cultivate comes in that we need more than just willpower,
Yes.
right? So what am I going to do to enable myself to more consistently choose in alignment with what I want to create? And just relying on myself all the time, I don't know about you guys, but from my perspective, that hasn't always worked. I need to build up resources. So cultivation for me is a building up of resources when sometimes those feelings are just begging to be engaged with, begging to lead, begging to drive the bus. So cultivate is I now have resources that I can utilize that will support me in continuing the practice of choice. So what does that mean? An example of cultivate are the people that you hang around. Notice who's around you consistently, who you have chosen to let be around you. And ask yourself, do they support me in what I'm trying to create? Do they give me the right energy in what I'm trying to create? Or are they in alignment with what I used to choose?
That's a tough one.
Right. Well, so what's that? I'm not going to get the saying right. There's that saying of you are
the average of the 5 people
right.
you hang out with,
Right.
or that you read about, you listen to their podcast, it doesn't have to necessarily be the 5 people you're hanging out with all the time.
No, but I just love what you just said. So before you go to bed, what are you watching? What are you engaging with? When you get up in the morning, I know a lot of people, right? Because I deal with a lot of senior executives. Almost every single one of them turns on the news first thing in the morning. Are you fucking kidding me? Sorry about the swearing. You want to get up at 6 a.m. and you want to turn on the news and you want to hear about the shooting, the traffic, the economy, the government. That's how you want to seed your energy. And it's literally instinctively the first thing that people do in the morning and at nighttime news.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So for me, cultivate is my practice includes not listening to the news.
Yep.
My practice includes monitoring the television shows that I watch.
Yes.
Are they feeding me in a way that's in alignment with the choices that I want to make because I'm trying to create something? Or are they in opposition to all of those things? So I don't watch murder and mayhem shows anymore because I find that impacts my nervous system. And so that doesn't support me in practicing. So the people and the information that you let flow into your life is about cultivation.
Okay.
Exercise is about cultivation.
Mm.
Right? Because if you're not feeling happy with where you are in your life, there's this sloth-like energy that overcomes many of us. And so when we cultivate movement, it actually starts a different flow in your brain, right?
Absolutely.
It opens up the blood vessels. Now, here's something that's happening in my life that I'll share with everybody. I'm having some debilitating, and capital D, debilitating issues with my legs as of March. And it's been It's been a struggle. If I'm walking like a 90-year-old person, it's embarrassing. It's hard. It's, going up the stairs where my bathroom is can make me cry. And so every day I'm practicing to go out for a walk, for instance. But in order to get me out for a walk, I have to center myself.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's either a meditation or I'm going to say it. Are you ready, Jordan? I'm going to say it. I'm going to say the P word. I'm going to say prayer.
Okay. And
So
those are things you do to cultivate that choice.
those are things that I do to cultivate. What I would like to open people up to as we talk about cultivation is that the world is bigger than you. And studies will show, I'm not asking you to believe in God. That's not what I'm here to do. I am asking you to believe in something bigger than yourself. I am asking you to connect to something outside of yourself. Call it the universe if you want. Call it God within if you want. You know, that inner wisdom that we talk about? That for me, in my language choice, is God inside of us, right? When I'm connecting to my best self, I know that there's something bigger than me. So the concept of spirituality can be scary to people, or you can be in resistance to it, and that's totally cool. Spirituality isn't your jam. Totally cool. I don't know where I would be without mine. Thank you, Mom. But think about it as meditation. Think about it as, I don't know, do you have Audible books? What type of music are you listening to? Are you filling your spirit? Let's think of spirituality this way. Are you filling your spirit with enabling things? Or are you draining your spirit? So even your music choice can impact your ability to make choices.
And it's interesting because as you're speaking about these things like exercise, people around you, the information, spirituality, meditation, it's not where I thought cultivation would come after choice.
Where did you think it would come?
I thought cultivation would be, more about deciding how to push that choice forward in the right direction. And actually, as I'm saying that, now I'm understanding.
Right? Because that's just more choice. And so what I want you to do, think about cultivation this way. If you decide that you're going to run a marathon, okay? So a lot of people actually, funnily, later in life, decide that they're going to run a marathon because it's one of those big, audacious goals. One of the things that they're going to do to enable them to run 42 kilometers. Is that right? 42 kilometers?
I believe it's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You have to nourish yourself. You have to cultivate energy within you in order to have the endurance to run the race. So you're going to do gel packs, or you're going to eat pasta the night before, or you're going to, right? Like you actually are cultivating an environment that's going to give you the energy to follow through on the choices that you're making. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
And so what often happens is we get up and we feel a certain way, and then we accept that as that's how I feel today. And so cultivation to me says, okay, I'm feeling a certain way. That's interesting to me. I'm curious about that. That surprises me. I had such a great day yesterday. Why am I so tired and grumpy this morning? That's interesting. So I get curious about it. And then I remember what I'm trying to create in the world. And then I think, I have some choices to make today. Do I cancel Jordan on the podcast? Do I go through with it? Right. And before I make that choice, I don't rely on my own willpower. I say, okay. So for me, that means I close my eyes again in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to prayer. If prayer is an uncomfortable word for people, go to mindfulness and say, okay, today I'm choosing to be the energy that I want to be in order to create what I want to create. I know I can do this. I'm asking for all the support that I need. So for me, support comes in terms of God. I call it God. I
Yes.
also call it universal energy.
Yep.
And I cultivate the mindset and the support. Cultivation is a support mechanism in my definition,
Okay.
so that I can make the choice, so that I can find the energy to make the choice that I need to make.
And after you do that prayer or connecting with the universe, you then will decide what direction you want to take.
100%. Because then now
Yeah.
I have different. Now I'm not tired and grumpy. I'm, oh, right. Okay. There's that energy that I was looking for in order to make the choice.
And Michelle,
I
you're not
read,
saying in the morning you're doing all of these things like exercise, meditate. You're just saying bring in some of that during the day, because it can get, I'm sure, overwhelming for people
yeah, no,
as you bring your glasses down.
I know. I'm looking at you like you're crazy. No. Some people do, some people do. Some people get up an hour earlier and do an hour of cultivation.
Yes. Yeah.
So, there's a lady on Instagram that I follow, and she's an exercise guru, and she has that morning hour to herself to cultivate the right mindset. And it includes what coffee or what hot beverage she drinks. She journals. Journaling is a cultivation activity.
Gratitude.
Right? Gratitude is a
Yep.
cultivation activity. So she journals and she reads 10 pages a day, and that takes her about an hour to do all those things. I am not at a stage in my life where I dedicate an hour to it. I'm not. I do dedicate a few moments to it. And then sometimes I need a boost. And so I'll either phone a friend who I know is in alignment with my energy, or I will do another few minutes of sort of quiet connectedness to self. I might read a book. I have a habit. I'm gonna let all the freak flag flies out today. Like I'm just right. Let's just do it. So I, as you can imagine, have a plethora of books on human behavior, on self-help, on self-development, like you name it, I probably have touched or read the book. Now I have a few favorites. The Power of Intention is one of my favorite all-time books. It's by a gentleman named Wayne Dyer, who has since passed. But literally that has been a go-to for me for like 30 years. And when I'm trying to cultivate a mindset, an energy to show up the way that I want to show up, I often take the book in between my hands. I'll do it with this.
Yeah.
I go like this, and I put the book in my hands, and then I listen to myself. So then I come into self, and then I listen for where I'm supposed to open the book, and then I open the book and I read the passage that I believe is meant for me. That's one of the things that I do to cultivate. I know, just sit with it. I know, I get it. I'm a freak. I get it. If you can't see Jordan's face, he's looking like he's like, what?
No. I was just, it came to me like, wow, how do you know what page you're opening up to? But you just open it up, and by having it in your hands, you're cultivating that energy you had when you originally dove into that book, or when you continue to dive into that book.
Right. So, I mean, we've just listed off a ton of tools for cultivation. Some of them we skipped over. So gratitude in the early stages of practicing. Gratitude, the practice of gratitude is a consistent go-to for me. So, and I prescribe it, if you will. Look at me pretending to be a doctor. I prescribe it.
Prescribe gratitude.
Right, prescribe gratitude. And that is, and I love this, is 50 things you're grateful for in the morning, 50 things you're grateful for at night. And people are like, 50? Because usually you're like, what? My life is shit. I don't have 50 things to be grateful for. I challenge anyone who is not feeling what they want to feel, who's feeling in opposition, do 50 things of gratitude and see what happens inside you. That's cultivation. That's how you shift your mindset. That's how you shift your spirit. I'm grateful that I have a dining room table. I'm
Mhm.
grateful that Jordan is in my life. I'm
Yes.
grateful that I have running water. I'm grateful that I have soap to wash my hands. Right? Because we might be talking to people who can't afford food and housing right now. It's so, what are the smallest things that you're grateful for? I'm grateful for certain people that I meet on the street. And it's not hard to get to 50. It's hard if you don't start.
Will you challenge people to actually write out the 50?
I do. Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to
And the
try that right
reason,
after this call.
yeah, the reason that I challenge people to write it out is because there's a connection. There's a deepening, if you will, between thinking things in your head and then the experience of actually writing it out and then seeing it.
Hmm. So cultivate is really like conditioning yourself,
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
It
by
is
conditioning, I was going to say, and by conditioning yourself and providing yourself the right energy, you then can take those choices you're consciously making and put them into practice in a much more effective way.
It gives you the energy to make the choices that you need to make. And
Hmm.
the thing about the conditioning is, I love that conditioning is another C word. Look at that.
Yeah. Okay.
I want you to think about it as you don't have to only rely on yourself, right? Like it's not just about you. So it is the books, it is the people. Therapy can be cultivation. A book club can be cultivation. Going for a walk in nature can be cultivation. So it's looking for support energy outside of yourself so that you have everything that you need to make the choices that you want to make throughout your day.
It's really great too, Michelle, that you said, just you can't just rely on willpower alone. I mean, I'll talk about myself. Sometimes I think that it's just got to be willpower
Yep.
to push through. And now I've understood through the tools that you're speaking with cultivation, how all of those things will set you up beyond willpower.
Beyond willpower. Because willpower to me is finite. So unless you're replenishing your willpower, it evaporates. So the cultivation comes in the replenishing of the willpower. Because every time you use your willpower, you're depleting, right? You're taking a debit out of the bank account. And so you have to have some flow back in.
And then in terms of the work audit, if someone's looking at their career or, different parts of their current role, so there's the choices they want to make. They want to practice the choice. And then by doing these things to cultivate, they'll be able to put those choices into better practice in terms of what they want to create in their career.
Yeah. Let's say that you want a promotion.
Yes. Yeah. Let's bring it back to something to do with that.
Okay. So let's say that you want a promotion. So are you okay if I talk about all 4 C's right now?
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's bring them all together.
Okay. So you decide that you want a promotion. And so that's a how, right? That's a path to something. So first of all, you go, okay, consciousness. How am I actually feeling right now? What's actually happening? Well, I'm feeling undervalued. I'm feeling not seen. I'm kind of bored. The challenges aren't there. So I'm right. Like right now, I'm kind of feeling not loving it. So now I'm connected to what's actually occurring. I'm not in resistance to it. I'm saying, okay, what is happening? Because when I connect to what is happening in my mind, I can now start to take control of it. So I'm recognizing that my glass is half empty. And when I notice that energy, then that's how I show up. Okay. But I want a promotion. So now let's move into create. So
Mhm.
you're not feeling great. You're not feeling valued. You're not feeling seen. You're not feeling like you're making a contribution, and you're kind of feeling ho hum. And then you're like, I want a promotion. And if I was talking to you, I would say, well, why do you want a promotion? What is it that you believe that the promotion is going to create for you? So the promotion in and of itself is a path to fill in the blank. Is it a path to power? Is it a path to relevance? I want to be relevant. I want to be powerful. I want to be celebrated. What is it that you believe getting a promotion will do for you? It could simply be about money. I think a promotion will give me more money. Okay, so I want to be financially stable, because in financial stability, I will what?
Yeah.
Right. So now we're
Yeah.
in the creation part.
Okay.
Then of course we move to choice. Okay, so think this is where the really sort of hits, right? So in consciousness, we said we're not feeling seen, we're not feeling motivated, we're kind of bored, and we're ho hum. Yet I want a promotion because I believe it's going to take me to power, contribution, adventure, whatever you filled in the blank. But I'm feeling ho hum. Oh shoot! Now I'm at the third C. I got to make a choice. So if I show up based on how I'm feeling, is that going to take me in the direction of getting a promotion and all of those beautiful energetic things I want? Or is it going to take me away? So if I show up as half-assed, depleted, am I going to get the kind of attention that I so desperately seeking, that my spirit, my soul is so desperately seeking? No, but I
No.
feel like shit. Okay. Okay, so do I show up based on how I'm feeling, or do I show up based on what I'm trying to create? Well, if I want the thing that I want to create, I'm going to choose to show up based on what I want to create. So I'm going to take on an extra project. I might even hire a headhunter. Like I might say, this isn't the place for me anymore. I want options, and options will make me feel like I have more control. So I'm going to choose in the direction of what I want, which is a promotion. Now I'm going to do that for a few days, and that's going to work. And then the ho hum, bored, tired stuff is going to come back in because my willpower has now been depleted.
Yes.
If I've been cultivating that whole week, I have more energy, more power, more consistency, more sustainability. If I've listened to a podcast in the morning, if I've read a chapter or 5 pages of a empowering book, if I have shut down all the negative noises, so I've created a more positive, energetic environment that in this economy, promotions are possible. Like imagine wanting a promotion, but you're listening to the news.
That's going to be hard. Yeah.
Right? It's going to be hard. So you shut those sources off, and suddenly you now have longevity and energy to create what it is that you want to create. And that's how all of those things combine in order to help you move towards what it is that you want to create. And then one day you wake up and you're like, shitballs, I'm here.
That's amazing. I love how you brought all of the 4 C's together there. Michele, what would the practice be in terms of cultivate, and how do you want to kind of close out this 5 episode series?
So such a good question. I want to say this, but I might walk it back. Cultivation for me is one of the most critical components of shifting.
Yes.
Because we do run out of energy, and because our feelings are real and they want to be seen, and without the knowledge of how to use our feelings instead of letting our feelings use us, it's easy to let go of the dreams. It's easy to lose sight of the end goal. So cultivation is kind of the fuel in your tank, right? You can't drive on that journey. You can't use your GPS in your car if you've not plugged your car in, or if you haven't filled up the tank.
Yes. Yeah.
And so cultivation is really about ensuring that you have source energy to continue to move forward. And so as much as I love every C, I do, because it's all just part of the bigger picture. But I encourage people to practice sitting in the world is bigger than me and what I want and need. And there's this richness of resources that are available to you to support you in your journey if you reach outside of yourself. So it's so funny because at the beginning of C's of the practice, I want you to go inward, right? I want you to stop blaming everything outside of you and making it everyone else's problem. And in the beginning of the practice, I want you to go inward. As we reach the end of this series, I actually want you to remember that you can look outward, but now you're looking outward through a different lens. You're looking outward for support, not someone else's responsibility. And that's the shift.
And the analogy there with the tank is just so powerful. Like, you need to keep that tank full in order for you to make those shifts. And,
100%.
you know, Michele, I just like to thank you for allowing us to all be a part of this 5-series episode. And speaking about the 4 C's, you always bring so much energy and so much wisdom to the table. And, you know, you are loved and you are worthy, and we're just grateful. We're grateful for you.
Well, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is cultivation. Surrounding yourself with people who make you feel good. And Jordan is a choice for me. And this actually was his idea, of actually doing this work audit and making a series so that we could really put it to use in your lives. So it's been really fun. And what I would encourage you to do, if you've been following along, and if you're choosing to engage and practice, send us a note, right? Our emails are out there, michele@michelleferrari.org. And let us know how you're doing, and keep practicing.
Yeah. And also a special shout out to Matt Hayes, who's been helping along with these episodes as well, and help form the 5-series audit.
And that guy's energy,
too.
man, Matt Hayes. He's one of those people. Surround yourself with great people. And Matt is one of those people. Yeah.
Shout out to Matt. All right. Well, thanks, Michele. We'll be back with future episodes when we decide what's next.
We will. Thank you so much.
What did you take away from our chat today? We'd love to know. You can follow Michele Ferrari on Instagram at MichelleFerrari01, or visit her website, michelleferrari.org. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow Get Your Shift Together on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you think this could impact someone, please share the episode with them. And remember, life and work, it's a practice. Let's be sure to treat it that way. Until next time.